Hello, welcome to another episode of trying to get this Creed 7B World War II teleprinter back up and running and connected to the internet. It's just Paul and I today, because Mike, who's normally with us, is over in the room over there, running his first synth meetup since the pandemic. So if there are any kind of crazy weird noises, it's probably some awesome old synth in the other room. So what are we getting up to today? Well, will Adrian manage to get this to do anything useful again, having dismantled it and not reassembled it properly? Yeah, we're not sure. So that's my task. If I spin around and show you, see that the type hammer here, which should be kind of sitting behind this, is not, and kind of fouling with that. So that's definitely not aligned right. So that's why I kind of stopped on working on this last time. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to be doing, but I think it's going to be working out how to adjust, find the mistake I've made in putting it back together, or just kind of set the adjustments up right and get it to do stuff. And what are you up to, Paul?
Trying to remind myself where the ESP32 bits and pieces are up to. The driver for the electromagnet and the new board. I think I might start by looking at the code and seeing if it does what I think it should do. Maybe the pins, because the pins will be different.
Right, yeah.
Anything else? I think just making sure that the connectors are made right. And,
okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Cool. And then working out where that goes. That goes into this box over here. That's eventually is the plan. Yep. So potentially kind of starting to look at where it's going to sit into there. So time to crack on. While Paul is finishing or doing some documentation stuff, I figured I'd give you an update on where I've got to. May not look it because I've taken the keyboard off, but it is now, apart from the keyboard and the ribbon, fully assembled. So there was a lot of, see if I can adjust, like there's 3 screws that hold kind of this whole area kind of casting onto the main printer. So I did a bit of juggling of that to see if that was going to improve matters, and did a bit, I don't know how well you can see, maybe if I get a torch to shine down into it. Don't know if that's making stuff any better, but there's like a cam here that if I rotate, let me get this tricky, you can maybe see that kind of spinning round, which is making all the mechanism work, basically clocking stuff in. Then it makes the bell cranks go in, and that's what kind of drives everything around. And so if I adjusted this so that the type hammer wasn't fouling things, then it made this very stiff and didn't work very well, and sometimes meant that the clicking the solenoid over to space, can't remember if it's mark or space, anyway, clicking it over to this side is what kicks off the entire operation, and that wasn't quite triggering because there are 2 little cams down in here that weren't getting unlatched properly, so it wasn't triggered. So there's a lot of to and fro, and I suppose getting to understand more how all of this mechanism works, because I mostly just lifted this entire section off beforehand, and then the upshot of all of that was that I just used the adjustment on the type hammer to get it to the right place. Did have to break out my imperial feeler gauges to get the correct 0.032 of an inch kind of gap between the type hammer and the individual letters. So hopefully it's all going to be operational now, and I guess the next thing to do is going to be to plug it in, turn it on, and see if it does anything. So yeah, maybe I'll get that set up and then film my amazing success or dismal failure. We'll see. I've got the motor powered up again now. Oh, not powered up, wired up. That's the one. Just about to do the powering up. Can't do any proper testing yet because of course Paul has the interface unit, but I can at least turn it on and see if it blows up or something. So here goes. So power onto the main power supply, and then if I turn this on, it should spring to life. Seems to be working. It's not making any nasty noises. Sits in idle until I click that, and then it switches off again. Yeah, and that's generally okay. And then we'll see. We'll wait until Paul's got the other side of things up and running. I guess I can put the keyboard back on in the interim. So there we are. Well, the teleprinter is reassembled and operational in a, you can turn the power on and it does what it's supposed to do. And then we've been working on how we get the interfacing to be able to, test it properly. And I guess I should pass you over to Paul to see what he's been up to, today on that side of things.
Yeah, so earlier on, to begin with, I needed to remind myself and I needed to make a list that helped me out mainly, which pins are which, so I've labelled them now on the board as well as on a diagram.
Nice.
Yeah, the GitHub entry and a list of pins. Pins for the old board and pins for the new board. Of course, the new board has the keyboard input and the send receive inputs.
Right, so we'll be able to test that as well.
Yeah, extra
cool.
capability. And once I had that in place and the software was reprogrammed to make use of the new pin layout, that was ready. I could put that aside. We tested the power supplies. This one, the 80 volt generator. This one, it's the 5 volts. And this one for plus or minus 12 for the keyboard. Mm-hmm. And the plus 12 derived from this module powers the H-bridge as well. So all voltages are needed really if you want to send.
Yeah, because we weren't going to do keyboard stuff today, but we were hoping to do output, but we still need the 12 volts to power the H-bridge to do the output.
That's right, yes. And so power goes in at the back, and when we switch it on, we measure very low voltage. What's going on? So it turned out after unscrewing the wires that this one had a short. This module, this plus minus 12 volt module, but it didn't seem to have the short when it was taken out of the standoffs.
Off the standoffs. So yeah, like it looks like it's
might have been
shorting together, and the joys of a nice metal case that's connecting everything together. So yeah, we didn't quite fell at the last hurdle, I suppose, for seeing whether I've broken the teleprinter with my dismantling and reassembling. And then next time we should be able to get this side of things sort of boxed up and ready to interface with it, which will let us test all of this and move everything a step forwards towards getting it all finished. So yeah, not too bad a day, but sadly no nice printing to end on, I'm afraid. You'll have to come back next time.